Welcome back folks for our tank review. Today we're looking at the KV-3, a tier 7 Russian heavy tank instead of the light heavy tank, the Yosef Stalin. As you can see in the tech tree coming after the T-150, the KV-3 is a less mobile version of a heavy tank, unlike the IS at tier 7 as well. So if you notice the comparison between the KV-1S and the T-150, the comparison is still the same between the IS and the KV-3. Also the same with the IS-3 in comparison to the KV-4. So whatever you learned on the T-150, you have to put those things to use on the KV-3 as well as the KV-4. This tank is a door stopper tank. It is more of a traditional heavy tank instead of a light, brawling, flanking heavy tank like the IS. So this tank doesn't shift as well as the IS, meaning flanking with this thing is kind of a bad idea. So let's get to the stats. This tank has 1400 health, which is very good for a heavy tank. It is very healthy. That means the T-29 at tier 7 for the Americans only has 150 health less than this tank, as well as the IS. The IS only has 1230 health. So this tank is very healthy for its tier. It does weigh a lot, almost 70 tons, meaning this tank does take less ramming damage if you gotta ram it, and do more ramming damage to targets if it rams somebody. Engine power wise, it's mediocre, 750 horsepower. The T-29 has 800 horsepower engine and weighs almost 5 tons less, so it is okay-ish engine. It does move pretty slowly at 32 kilometers per hour and turns very slow at 18 degrees per second, meaning that if this tank gets flanked with mediums such as the Cromwell or the Comet, this tank doesn't turn as fast to engage, so don't get cornered and don't get flanked with this tank. Now armor wise, this tank has 120mm at the front, 90mm at the sides, 90 at the rear. Turret armor is 130 at the front, 115 at the sides, 115 at the rear. Now if you compare this tank with the IS, you can see that both armors are pretty much the same, surprisingly, meaning that the KV-3 might have a harder time in comparison with its brother, the IS. However, the KV-3 has more health. As a square-shaped hull, unlike the IS has a more triangular shaped hull, meaning that side-scraping with the IS is not going to be as effective as side-scraping with the KV-3. Because when you're side-scraping with the IS, people can shoot directly at your beak, this cheek right here, and directly penetrate you. Whereas if you're gonna side scrape with the KV-3, they have no flat angles to shoot at your hull armor, so you have to go through the hard turret armor of 130mm at the front. So it has more armor, even though the armor is the same. It doesn't have the angling of the beak or the cheeks like the IS. So that's gonna be your plus or the benefits on playing this tank. So you have to take advantage of side scraping and hiding the front of your plate, and you're only allowing people to shoot at your sides, so that's very important. You also have to apply this side scraping technique for the KV-4, because the KV-4 is one of the best side scrapers in the game, so you have to be aware of that. Now turret traverse is also very poor, 22 degrees per second, so this means this tank doesn't do well against flankers, so you have to be very careful. View range wise, it's okay-ish, 340 meters of view range. Now the IS has about 350, I think. Let's take a look. But Russian view range are always bad. Yeah, 350. So Russian view range are bad. 340 meters of view range means this tank doesn't see well, and it is a very big tank, so it gets spotted easily. It does have a decent standard radio at tier 10-ish radio, so you won't get out of range of your teammates pretty soon, so you'll be in range most of the time. What that means is, this tank is more of a close-range brawler, a tank that's going to be a door stopper within a town, a bridge, or a valley. So you have to be in close-range combat most of the time. Now when you're in close-range combat, that means you have to hide the front of your weak spots, such as the driver hatch, driver view ports, view slits, whatever you call these, machine gun ports, as well as the lower plate. So you have to hide this frontal hull armor, exposing only your thick tracks as well as your side armor to prevent your enemies from shooting at your weak spots. Now another thing I noticed that's particularly weak on this tank is the mantlet. Even though the bottom of the mantlet is pretty good, The top of the mantlet, top half of the mantlet is pretty weak. A 75mm gun from the Americans can easily penetrate this mantlet, so that's a key weak spot on this tank. But most people will just auto aim at your tank and shoot through the mantlet, so you have to be very careful. Only allow them to shoot at the cheeks of your turret, which is very bouncy, as well as the rounded top part of your mantlet, but don't let them shoot directly at the middle of your mantlet. The commander's cupola is also a very rounded target, so shooting this thing is a likely chance to bounce because it's such a small target and very well rounded, so people will generally shoot at the top of your turret or the weak mantlet. Crew skills wise, right, you want to have repair on this tank. Now I do not have 100% crew, so this is not a fully upgraded crew, but when you do get your first skill, have repairs for everybody to be something of like this. You want to have repairs for everybody to get their tracks back on, as well as the damage modules such as your gun or your periscopes. So you want to have like something like this. Now, once you get your second skill, you want to switch repairs out for something like this. You want to get 6 cents on your commander, snapshot on your gunner, clutch braking for your driver, and safe stowage for your loaders. Now, you do get radio operators as well. Radio operators will probably have situational awareness to increase that view range, and the second loader could have firefighting to help with the fires, obviously. So something like this. So you want something like this with situational awareness as well as firefighting. Well, this is my KV-2 crew, so this is a very well-trained crew, but ignore the smooth ride. So just ignore that. But for equipment goes, I'll put a gun rammer to increase the rate of fire and vents to help with the mobility of the tank. Now, since everybody doesn't have repairs yet, I have a toolbox to help with the repairs. Once everybody get repairs, you probably want to shift this out for enhanced gun lane drive. What the hell is it? You want to shift this out for enhanced gun lane drive if you want to keep the tank. Now, if you're gonna sell this thing like I'm about to do, just don't worry about it. Obviously here. Now let's go into Tank Inspector to look at the armor, and after that we'll play some live games. Alright, here we have the KV-3. Now the top plate is 120mm, which is okay. The upper glacis is 80mm, but very well sloped, give you about 175-ish effective armor. The lower glacis is 100, which is okay, give you about 117, 114-ish effective armor, so okay. But you really want to sidescrape with this tank, like how I position it right here. Even though it has 90mm of armor at the sides, if you sidescrape, it will be about 200-ish millimeters. It will be about 170-ish at the middle of the under the gun, but it's a pretty small target. And the tracks is very, very thick. You will eat a lot of shots if you angle this tank and have people shoot at your tracks. So the tracks will eat a lot of shots. The turret is okay, in my opinion. The turret size is about 225-ish to 200-ish at the bottom, so it is very well bouncy to low caliber guns. But the upper part of the mantlet is pretty weak. It's about 115-ish, so the mantlet is pretty weak on this tank. That's the main drawback of this tank, is the mantlet is pretty weak at the top. So you have to be careful. The gun does get knocked out most of the time, so make sure you have repair skills or repair packs. Side of the tank is okay. Now if I go point the turret backwards or return to normal, you can see it's only 115-ish at the sides, so try to side scrape as much as possible. This tank also turns very slowly, as you can see here. The turret turns very, very slowly, so be careful with that. Ass of this tank is still bouncy for light tanks. It has 90mm at the ass and 80mm at the top of the ass, so it is still somewhat bouncy for low caliber guns. Now let's look at the statistics in comparison with other heavy tanks at this tier. Now I'm comparing with the IS directly right now. As you can see, the DPM is the same as the IS, even though you carry a lot more ammo, so that's alright. However, you do get less view range than the IS and less camo rating than the IS, obviously. You do get somewhat better accuracy while turning the turret, but accuracy wise it's still pretty bad. You do have better gun depression, 1 more degrees of gun depression than the IS, but you have 1 degrees of less gun elevation than the IS, so it counters out. Mobility wise, you do have worse engine power. of 11 specific power in comparison to 15, so this tank will not shift as well. And it does have 18 degrees of hull traverse. Ugh, I'm just so disgusted. So 18 degrees of hull traverse means this tank will not turn around pretty quick. So that's gonna be suck. And it does move pretty slowly, only 32 kilometers per hour, even though IS has only 2 more kilometers per hour. And reverse is only 10, so this tank doesn't shift as well. But here's the main difference between this tank and the IS. So basically, if we sidescrape like this, keeping the gun pointed right here, like sidescrape right here, point the gun right at the camera. So this is effective sidescraping. You're hiding most of your tank and bouncing most of the shots aimed at this part of your tank. So you want to shoot, then pop back into cover. So imagine if the vertical line is the wall, you want to keep your tank somewhat like this, pop out, take a shot, pop back in, pop out, take a shot, pop back in. But if you do this on the IS though, here you have the IS. As you can see here, this part of the tank is very weak, as well as this part of the tank, because it is a beak. It is a wedge-shaped beak on the cheek of this tank. So basically, if people shoot you right here, they're gonna penetrate with only about 120-ish millimeters of effective armor. So side scraping in the IS is a very bad idea, because people can just shoot right here. Whereas if you side scrape with KV-3, it's about 200-ish millimeters. So that's how side scraping without a pointed beakish hull armor. So if this is more of a square, it has a better chance of bouncing shots. Whereas if it's not gonna really bounce shot because it's pointed. So this part becomes flat if you side scrape with the IS. So basically it's gonna be 120-ish millimeters. So alright, let's go back to the real game and play some live games. Alright, let's play some live games with the KV-3. So after saying millimeters, your mouth gets really parched. See what I mean? Your mouth gets really parched, and I cannot pronounce words. So Insk is a very good map for this tank because it has a lot of buildings, and side scraping with this thing is amazing. So you gotta be very careful. Hello, chair. Let's do this. Oh, my mouth is parched. We do see a lot of French tanks now because it's on track to the AMX 50B, I think. Yeah, AMX 50B. So a lot of French heavy tanks. Away, learn to drive. Lags. So you want to side scrape with this thing as best as possible because the side armor is very decent. We have a SU-152, KV-3. Right into the lower glazes. Nice. He got our tracks, I got his lower plate. So you want to side scrape, unlike what that... Alright, artillery. Alright, artillery. You're a dick. I get it. Alright, this position has been compromised by artillery, so I'm gonna move a bit. Oh my god. Explosions happen. Okay. Our base is being almost capped, so I have to go back and help out. Mostly, since my team will not go back, obviously, I'll go back. I'll go back and help out. Okay. Lags. So, as you see here, side scraping is very effective on this tank. Oh, yes. Alright. And a tiger. Really, artillery? Use a dick. Kill that artillery, please. Thank you. Right into his cheek turret armor. Artillery always loved me for some reason. They always want to kill me. Ah, building. Lags. Alright. And Iffy is the only one left. So, as you can see here, even though I didn't do a lot of damage, but side scraping prevents me from getting a lot of damage to my tank. Other than artillery hitting me. Ugh. Stop capping. I want to kill the Iffy. So slow. Ah, you dicks. So, side scraping prevents a lot of damage from that KV-3. So that's how you should play this tank, side scrape. Now I gotta turn off Skype because I'm lagging a bit, so 1 second. So as you can see here, side scraping prevented 390 damage to my tank. So other than the freaking artillery hitting me, ugh. So let's try another one. That was lagging for some reason. Ugh, and my mouth is parched. My tongue gets twisted when saying millimeters. Blah, millimeter. Blah, 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 blah. Millimeter. Another town battle. Nice, nice. So you want to side scrape with this tank because the KV-3 didn't even penetrate us and bounce a lot of shots. So, but side scraping only works against one tank or one direction. If you go side scrape a buttload tank, it's you better make sure you don't have any other tank shooting at you. So be careful when you're side scraping. Now the mantlet on this tank is pretty weak, so be careful. People will shoot at your gun in a desperate attempt to knock it out, so yeah. So be careful of your turret. Wiggle your tank when you can. Wiggle the turret, actually. Now based on the view range, as well as the camo rating, going to valleys such as that one is kind of not a good idea. So you want to go into town. Oh, it still lags a bit. So yeah, this tank is very good. It helps you train for the KV-4, which is a very good side scraping tank. The KV-4 is very good at side scraping. Very, very good. Much better than this tank. This tank only has 90-ish millimeters at the sides. The KV-4 has 150-ish millimeters. So side scraping with the KV-4 is monstrously good. Lags. We only have one tank in the valley? Bad missed. This tank does jiggle a lot. We have IS in front of us as well. Right into our stuff. Really? Get out of here. It's my spot. Get. Alright. Tracked him. So side scraping, you want to expose yourself to the least amount of targets, such as you do not want to expose yourself to all those IS and tracks aided. Repaired. Sidescrape again. What? Alright. Oh, that was a bad shot. Yeah, keep bouncing, son. Yeah, keep bouncing. You're not gonna penetrate. That's the power of side scraping. Because people are just giving their position away most of the time. Yep. Ah, missed. So the accuracy on the gun is not that good. This is the same gun on the IS, obviously. So long range fighting like this. What the hell? You saw that? It just disappeared. It just disappeared. My shots just evaporated. It went straight into his tank and just gone. You just called me stupid. So you want to shoot the middle. Ah, I didn't shoot it right. How about you get a different position then, you idiot? Try to shoot the lower places, or not. Okay. And bounce again. So, ignore your teammates because they're stupid, obviously. If I'm taking a position, you go find another one. Alright. You see there's a 830 going for artillery. Alright. Alright. Too much side scraping on that tank. Gives me a very good shot into his side of his tank. And bounce again. Track me again. Now I'm giving this IS plenty of time to move up, because they cannot penetrate me. Now if I get cornered or swarmed, that's another different idea. Ah, into his mantlet. Oh, he's tracked. Alright, time to move up. Fuck it. There you go. Okay, see, if I don't side scrape, the freaking tank easily penetrates me. Yeah. I know where to go. Side scrape. On my tracks. Now let's go for the rest of the tank out of our base, because the rest of the team didn't do that well. The IS could handle that T-25/2. I need to head back to base. Oh, fired. Ugh. Oh, come on, gun. So long range accuracy is not that good. 3. Oh, never mind. Thank you for killing that T-25/2. So ignore what your teammate says. You should know when you should push up or when you should hide in the back. Because your teammate is so goddamn dumb, like that Panzer S5. Why does he go into town when you have no armor? Doesn't make sense. Idiot. So just ignore what your teammate does. Oh, smart 87. Alright. KV-3. Took a hit. Alright. So, you might think that I wasn't doing anything while hiding on that corner. That's not true because I'm distracting the IS, the two ISs, the T25/2 and the KV-13, giving my team time to push up. Now, whether they push up well, that's not a good idea. The IS didn't push up, the other IS didn't push up. So, yeah. But ignore what your teammate says. Just know what you should do. Know what the effects of your tank is. If you push up, like what you see, what you did see when I did, I took a bunch of hits in the front of the tank at the lower glacis, excuse me, as well as the mantlet. So ignore what your team says. Your teammate doesn't know what's best for you. You do. Ugh, my mouth is parched. I cannot talk today for some reason. Freaking artillery always love me. Ugh. 6 seconds or 6 minutes. Hurry up. So the tank's mobility is also not that good, as you saw, as well as the accuracy. So it does prefer close range engagements. But you did see how sidescraping bounced a lot of shots against that T25/2, the IS, as well as the KV-13. So you really want to sidescrape with this tank. If you do not, then you get pummeled in the front, as the lower glacis as well as the mantlet. So you want to sidescrape with this thing. Other than that, that was okay-ish. I bounced a lot of shots though. Did I get a steel wall? Yeah, steel wall, motherfucker. So yeah, we took a lot of hits and bounced them. The freaking pencil was dumb. Alright, let's have some more. My mouth is parched. Parched. Another town map. Wow. 3 in a row. All town maps. Alright. So remember, sidescrape is your best friend. You will bounce a lot of shots if you sidescrape well. The turret is also pretty bouncy too. But the gun's not that accurate. That's the main kicker. Even though it do not have a 100% crew, it is close to 100%-ish. So still, it's not that accurate of a gun. So it's more used for close range combat. But like the IS, when you saw that IS sidescrape, I could easily puncture the side of his tank because he sidescraped too much. So learn to sidescrape. That's the main reason you want to play the KV-4, is the sidescraping. The KV-4 has 150-ish millimeters at the sides, meaning its effective armor is about 300. So sidescraping with that tank is crazily good. Guess we're holding this corner. So that's the main features of a heavy tank, or main responsibility of a heavy tank. You're supposed to hold a corner and prevent anybody from flanking by normal means. So you want to go into this corner and sidescrape. And gonna need a better position on this sidescrape though. Mesh. Oh wait, why did I lag for a second? Tracks. Bad idea, Crusader. Alright, you want to play. So he aimed for my tracks ate it. Bounced. So side of your tank still bouncy. Now I'm holding up a lot of tanks over there. A Sherman, the IS, the ARL. Aim for the cupola and I missed. So you want to give them baits, but they will never penetrate if they shoot at me at this angle. So nope. No, it's dependent on your teammates to do well. Ah, fuck yeah. Oh, bounce again. See? Very well side scraping. So that's the main takeaway of this tank. Now my team is pushing up on the other side of the flank, so hopefully they'll do well. Ah, this gun is not accurate. Not a remote bit of accuracy on this thing. Now let's push up. Give them a surprise. We have the punch 4 or 5 defending us. Bounced. Alright. We reload the same time as the IS. So that gives us enough time to push up. And Sidescrape right here. Yeah. He's trying to bait my shots. Yeah, he bounced. And he shot too. We reload at the same time. Into his lower places, and he's out. Okay, you want to go back and Sidescrape. Into his chunk. Alright, ARL's left, then for the then go for the E25. But this tank is slow, so let's give this guy a surprise. You're not going to go anywhere, buddy. Yeah, you're not going anywhere. What? Mantlet trolls me. So wiggle your turret, wiggle. Yeah, haha. Goodbye. So try to wiggle your turret as well as you possibly can. But you still can bounce a lot of shots. We have a VK-3001P. He's not gonna stand up much. I'm not afraid of you. Yeah. I'm back here. I bounced. Practice. Yeah. I'm not scared. I have health to compensate. You don't. And you just bounce another shot. So we do not want to get flanked by the E25. So where's that E25? Or capping too? Alright. Okay. E25 got dealt with by the IS. And for the KV-3. So as you saw, Sidescraping bounced a lot of shots from the IS, as well as a butt ton of shots for that VK. Okay, he's dead. Alright. As well as the cupola. See, the cupola is still rounded, and it bounced the shot from the ARL. So this tank is still good at Sidescraping, even though I just don't like this tank because of the mantlet. The mantlet is pretty weak, so it's not that good. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the review because I'm kind of tired today, and I don't know why. My mouth doesn't want to talk, so I'll do one more. Fuck it, I'll do one more. But Sidescraping is the main aspect of importance of this tank. Holy shit, tier 9. Alright. Give me a challenge before I go. Alright. So, even though you're tier 7, this tank is not as well performing in a high tier match, unlike the IS. Because the IS could play like a medium tank. This tank is too slow to be performing like a medium tank. So, yeah. but you still can sidescrape, and you still can do damage. You just need some friends with you. Generally, you want to back up the best teammates or high tier teammates you have, but this tank has no turret armor. The melee is not that good, so you want to be careful. I'll take the island, I guess, since I'm already here. But you saw how well the side armor bounced a lot of shots, a lot. Even the cupola is well rounded, so the ARL still missed, or didn't miss, but it still bounced the ARL shot. So you want to sidescrape as well as wiggle your turret when you're playing this tank. So wiggle, 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 wiggle. I have a KV or IS6 and a STA1. There is artillery in play, so stick to the rocks. Now, I do not want to get shot by a T-30. It does hurt. 700 damage is half of your health, even though you already have a lot of health. They still can easily penetrate you. Okay. Sidescrape. There you go. That was a clutch shot. I don't know how that went in. That was pretty cool. Now, I want the IS-6 to go first because he has more armor than me. Well, more well-sloped armor than me. Now, I'll watch this IS's ass, and he'll watch my ass. So that's how teamwork works. That's how teamwork works. Oh, T-34. Oh, still bounce off his upper plate. Sidescrape. Right into the front of my tank. Notice me, senpai! If you have a shot, take it. Alright, nice, nice. Tracked him, damn it. Go IS-6, I'm dependent on you. I'm out of health now. Okay, there's another IS-6. So we get penetrated in the front plate easily because he's too close, too goddamn close. Blah, can't talk. Today is a non-talking day. So don't want to block people's path. Alright, he fired. Right into his side of his armor. Alright. Nice ELC. Join the party. What are you got light? What is the light tanks doing? Get out of here. Go scout. So there's a KV-2. Oh, we don't want to block shots, so I'll back up a bit. Lags! 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 KV-2 and a IS-6. He's firing gold. And we're out. Light tank, you're taking up space. You're not helping. Go distract them if you can, by running at them. I actually hit him? Nice. So, what you should not do in light tank is take up space like these two are doing. But actually we did pretty okay-ish. 1600 damage. So, yeah, light tank's dumb. Oh well. Pause.
Surprisingly, I did the best.
What? I did the most damage too? What? I'm a fucking tier 7 and tier 9 game. You guys really. Ugh. That's just horrendous. But like I said, you still do pretty well if you sidescrape. Now that IS took a lot of health away from me. That's the main drawback. But the light tanks, I don't even know what the hell the light tanks are doing. They take up space when they shouldn't. So don't do that. Don't jump into a heavy tank corner and just take up space, because you're preventing people to back up and other stuff. So sidescrape is the main takeaway from this tank. You need to learn how to sidescrape well with this tank in order to do well. Because when sidescraping pretty well, the 122mm cannons cannot penetrate your sides easy because the tracks are so thick. And you can easily, reliably bounce 200mm penning shells or below with the sides. So this tank is not bad. But whenever you get, or when you do get to the KV-4, the KV-4 is monstrous. 150mm at the sides. Sidescraping with this tank is amazing. It will bounce BL-10 shots from the ISU easy, because sidescraping with this track is so goddamn good. But like the T-150, you need to learn how to sidescrape with these Russian heavy tanks in order to do well later on. Other than that, your frontal plate gets easily penetrated. The gun is also not that accurate for sniping purposes. .46, it's not a sniping gun. It's a close range derp gun. So learn to use sidescrape as well as aim if you can at weak spots. But it got why does people want me to join the training room? What? But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. I'm sorry I cannot talk today. My mouth is kind of weird. I've been slurring on millimeters. I don't know. My mouth is kept jarring and I don't know. But I can't talk today, so probably the KV-3 hates me. But other than that, hope you guys enjoyed the review. Leave a comment, rate and subscribe, like if you liked the video, and tell me what where I should do better at, like sidescraping wise, or instead of get dug in. God damn it, cannot talk. Get dug in at a corner, because I really like to sidescrape and just keep pumping out shots because the team just dies all around me and blah. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. My mouth is weird today. I don't know, I can't talk, and I'm kind of pissed off about it. But other than that, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.